today in the last session of biomolecules we will discuss the remaining parts of enzymes. So regarding to the enzymes, as we all know that enzymes are the substances which are produced in the body which will speed up the chemical reaction without itself undergoing any change, and they are known to be the enzymes. Now, how the enzymes bring about the chemical reactions? So, for example, in each and every reaction, there will be a physical change. What is a physical change? Physical change is nothing but change in the shape of a substance, which we can see. Physical change which we can see, nothing but change in a shape of the substance. Or if it is in case of states of matter where there is melting of ice, that is also a physical change which we can see. Okay, each and every chemical reaction will have a physical change as well as the chemical change, where physical change is the change in the shape of a shape as well as the change in the state of matter, and chemical change. What are the chemical changes which we can see here? So here, for example, in an inorganic reaction, look into the reaction barium oxide in the presence of sulfuric acid, which will give rise to the barium sulfate, where in the chemical change there is a making and breaking of bonds. Chemical change mainly includes making as well as the breaking of bond. Bonds will be broken. So here you can see bond is broken, and here there is a formation of a bond. So that is nothing but a chemical change. Okay, so this is an example of inorganic reaction. We can also take an example of organic reaction where the conversion of starch into a glucose. Conversion of starch into a glucose, it is a organic reaction. Okay, so next, the rate of reaction. So rate of reaction here is nothing but conversion of substrate into a product. Okay, conversion of substrate. See, in the presence of enzyme, substrate has to be converted into a product. There is a thumb rule. So thumb rule is rate is equal to delta P by delta T. Okay, rate is equal to delta P by delta T. P refers to the product and T is the time. P is product, T is time. So here, according to thumb rule, for every 10 degree Celsius change, either the reaction will be doubled, or it will be decreased by its half. Either the reaction will be doubled or it is decreased by half, and that is known to be the thumb rule. Okay, so according to the thumb rule, for every 10 degree Celsius change, either the reaction will be doubled or it will be reduced to half. So that is nothing but a thumb rule. Now, the enzyme catalyzed reaction. What is the difference between in the reaction in the presence of enzyme as well as in the absence of enzyme? What are the differences which we can see in the presence of enzyme as well as in the absence of enzyme? So, for example, there is a reaction carbon dioxide plus water. In the presence of an enzyme, carbonic anhydrase. Carbon dioxide plus water, in the presence of an enzyme, carbonic anhydrase give rise to carbonic acid. So now, this enzyme is very important for the conversion of this. Without this enzyme, if this enzyme is absent, then in 1 hour, 200 molecules of products are formed. If this enzyme is absent, 1 hour 200 molecules of products are formed. If this enzyme is present, in 1 second 6 lakh molecules of products are formed. Okay, if this enzyme is absent, then in 1 hour 200 molecules are formed. If this enzyme is present, then in 1 second 6 lakh molecules of enzyme is formed. So that is nothing but the enzyme catalyzed reaction. Importance of an enzyme catalyzed reaction. Even each and every reactions, there may be a linear reaction, there may be a circular reaction, there may be a single step pathway, there may be a multi-step. For example, conversion of glucose to pyruvic acid. Glucose is nothing but C6H12O6. Conversion of glucose to pyruvic acid, it is a 10-step process. It is complete one of the 10-step process. So that is regarding to this. So catalyzed reactions will have a more speed compared to the uncatalyzed reactions. So here you can differentiate the catalyzed reaction wherein 1 second 6 lakh molecules are formed. So this enzyme is having a highest turnover point. Okay, this enzyme is having highest turnover value. So that is why it forms a 6 lakhs molecule. So this is regarding to the enzyme catalyzed reactions. Next, we will move on to the chemical conversions. So in the chemical conversion, so if it is a reaction, substrate has to be converted into products. Substrate will be converted into a product. So here we will take an example of activation energy. Activation energy. So before that we should know what is the active site. What do you mean by active site? It is a site which is present in the enzyme for the binding of substrate. The site found in the enzyme for the binding of substrate is known to be the active site. What do you mean by activation energy? It is the minimum energy. Activation energy is the minimum energy required by the substrate. It is the minimum energy required by the substrate to bind with an enzyme. Minimum energy required by the substrate to bind with an energy. The energy required to bind with the enzyme is known to be the activation energy. So in this graph you can check where the x-axis refers to the progress of reaction, y-axis is the potential energy. Okay, so there is a substrate. Now, the first graph shows that the activation energy in the presence of particular enzyme. So this is the activation energy in the presence of enzyme. So it is less. Energy required is less. If the enzyme is found, they will directly go and bind to it. So energy required is less. So this shows that the activation energy without enzyme. Activation energy without enzyme. So it is more. Okay, so if the enzyme is not seen, then they will go in search of enzyme. For that, they will lose more energy. Okay, so they will lose more energy. So that is activation energy without enzyme. So activation energy with the enzyme, activation energy without enzyme. Activation energy with enzyme is less. Activation energy without enzyme will be more. Okay, so that is regarding to the activation energy. It is the minimum energy required by the substrate to bind with an enzyme. That is the activation energy. So activation energy with enzyme is less compared to the activation energy without enzyme. So here this is known to be the transition state. This is a transition state. What do you mean by a transition state? Transition state refers to it is an unstable condition. Any reaction will not stay in a transition state, that will be converted into another state. So that is unstable form is nothing but a transition state. Okay, so this is regarding to the chemical conversions. Next we will move on to the nature of enzyme action. Okay, so next we will move on to the nature of enzyme action, how enzymes acts. Okay, for example, the substrate goes and binds with the enzyme. For example, if this is a enzyme plus this is the substrate, so it will go and bind with the enzyme. So this is nothing but active site. So they will form enzyme substrate complex. Okay, enzyme will go and bind with the substrate will go and bind with the enzyme. They will be fitted properly. They will bind and they will be fitted properly and forms a enzyme substrate complex. And this enzyme substrate complex then forms enzyme product complex. Okay, so this later forms the enzyme product complex, and then enzymes will be released as well as products will be released. So these are the products. First, enzyme substrate will go and bind to the enzyme and they will be fitted properly into the active site. So there is a induction of this particular active site. They will be molded properly for the proper fitting of substrate, and they form a enzyme substrate complex. This enzyme substrate complex forms the enzyme product complex. Then there is a release of enzyme. As you know that enzyme will not take any changes. Okay, they will remain as it is. Only products will be formed. So that is regarding to the enzyme, nature of enzyme action. So now regarding to the nature of enzyme action, so there is a one more concept is that the binding of enzyme to the substrate. We have two important theories. One is a Locant-Key model and one more is a induced fit theory. So we are following induced fit theory now. According to the induced fit theory, as soon as the substrates bind with the enzyme, enzyme undergoes slight changes to fit with it. That is the induced fit theory. Okay, so this is regarding to the nature of enzyme action. Next is about the factors affecting enzyme activity. So there are mainly three factors, that is pH, temperature as well as a substrate concentration. Substrate concentration. Now regarding to the pH, x-axis is represented by the pH, y-axis represented by the enzyme activity. So the pH range between 0 to 14. So the maximum activity you can see at around 7, pH 7, which is a neutral pH. So now regarding to this, there is the optimum temperature as well as the optimum pH. What is this optimum temperature and optimum pH? It is the pH or temperature at which enzymes acts is best. It is the optimum. Okay, optimum pH is the one, it is the pH at enzymes acts best. Normally it is a neutral pH, 7. Okay, whereas optimum temperature, it is a favorable temperature for the enzymes for its maximum activity, which ranges between 25 to 45 degrees Celsius. If the temperature is less than this, enzymes will be inactive. If the temperature is more than 60 degrees Celsius, enzymes will be denatured. As you all know that proteins will be denatured at a high temperature. Okay, so this is regarding to this pH as well as the enzyme activity, temperature, and here y-axis represents the enzyme activity. This graph is very important for the exam point of view. So here at the maximum activity will be seen at around 25 to 45 degrees Celsius. So this is temperature and pH. Next is about the substrate concentration. So regarding to the substrate concentration, x-axis represents the substrate, y-axis represents the velocity of reaction. As we go on adding substrate, reaction velocity increases. Okay, as we go on adding substrate, reaction velocity we add substrate also, there is no change in the reaction. Okay, so at this point, this is going to be the Vmax, maximum velocity. After this, when we add substrate, there is no change. For example, how this takes place? There is an enzyme consisting of many active sites. One substrate will bind, product formation takes place. Another substrate will form, more product formation takes place. Another substrate will bind, again more product formation takes place. Until when this completely filled, after that if we add substrate, there is no place for the substrate. So there is no change in the reaction. Okay, as we go on adding substrate, there is increase in the reaction velocity, but at one point that becomes maximum. After that, if we had substrate, then there is no change in the reaction. That is mainly because after that there are no free active sites for the binding. If there is a free active sites for the binding, then only product formation. If there is no free active sites, then there is no change. So this maximum velocity is the Vmax. Half of the maximum velocity is known as half Vmax, and it is also known as Km Michaelis constant. Km Michaelis constant. Half Vmax is known to be the Km Michaelis constant. So these three are the very important factors affecting enzyme action. First one is pH, temperature, substrate constant. So pH, there is an optimum pH, that is pH 7. Exceptions are there. Exceptions are there for these because stomach is having acidic pH, but still some enzymes will work. Intestine is having a basic pH, even some enzymes will work. Even regarding to this, in hot springs organisms survive, their enzymes will also work. Exceptions are there, but naturally at these temperatures they will work maximum. Okay, so that is regarding to the factors. Namaste students. So today in the last session of biomolecules, we will discuss the remaining parts of enzymes. So here we have already discussed what are enzymes as well as what are the properties of enzymes. So today we will see what are inhibitor. So inhibitor are the chemical substances which will bind to an enzyme and makes it inactive. Those are the chemical substances which will bind to an enzyme and makes it inactive, and the process is known as inhibition. Okay, process is known as inhibition, and the substances are called inhibitors. Okay, inhibitors are the chemical substances which will bind to the enzyme and make it inactive. Whereas regarding to the competitive inhibitors, so competitive inhibitors are the substances which mainly looks like a substrate. They compete with the substrate. Their molecular structure that resembles the substrate, so those will bind with the enzyme and make it inactive. They look like a substrate and they will bind with the enzyme and makes it inactive. So that is why it is known to be the competitive inhibitor. So those are the substances, those will compete with the substrate, and then they will bind with the enzyme and again they will make it inactive, and that is known to be the competitive inhibitors. Okay, so here the succinic dehydrogenase. Succinic dehydrogenase is the enzyme which is inhibited by malonate. Succinic dehydrogenase is the enzyme and it is inhibited by malonate. Okay, that will be inhibited by malonate. So here regarding to this, the malonate resembles the succinate. Actual substrate is the succinate. Okay, actually this particular enzyme must act on the succinate, but this malonate resembles the succinate, so that is why that will go and bind. Malonate will go and bind to the succinic dehydrogenase and makes it inactive, okay, and that is known to be the competitive inhibitors. So next, these competitive inhibitors are mainly used in the control of bacterial pathogens, especially in the fields. They are used in the control of bacterial pathogens. So that is regarding to the inhibitors as well as competitive inhibitors, which can be asked for 1 or 2 marks. Okay. So next we will look into the classification of enzymes. So in the classification of enzyme, based on their action, how they act, how they work, based on that the enzymes are classified into 6 classes. There are mainly 6 classes: oxidoreductases or dehydrogenases, transferases, hydrolases, lyases, ligases as well as isomerases. So there are 6 classes comes under the enzymes. Okay, so first and foremost is the oxidoreductases or dehydrogenases. These will mainly function by the process of oxidation and reduction. These enzymes action is by doing either oxidation or by reduction. So here in this you can study here where there is a substrate which is reduced and a substrate oxidized, and where what happens, oxidation reduction reaction takes place where this substrate is oxidized and substrate 1 is a reduced one. So there is a oxidation reduction reaction. So certain group of enzyme which will bring about the reactions by doing oxidation reduction. Next is about the transferases, as the name indicates, which will mainly do a transfer of groups, where the function will be done by the transfer of groups, and that is known to be the transferases. So here you can see S-G as well as the S-, where there is a transfer of a group has taken place. So here you can see there is a transfer of a group. Okay, so that is transferases. Next is hydrolases. Reaction takes place by the process of hydrolysis. Hydrolysis of ester, hydrolysis of ether, peptide, CC, etc. where there will be a process of hydrolysis. Next is about the lyases. Lyases refers to the breaking. Okay, lyases refers to the breaking, but it is not a hydrolysis. It is not with the use of water. Okay, so it is a bond breaking. Lyases refers to the bond breaking. So here in this reaction you can check. There is a bond breaking. So that is lyases. Isomerases. So isomerases refers to the reaction involves the change in the geometry of the substance, where their geometry will change. Okay, so they will become a mirror images. So that is refers to the isomerases. Reaction involves the change in the geometry of a substance. And the last one is the ligases. Ligases refers to the joining. Ligases are nothing but the joining, where there is a formation of a bond. Okay, CO bond, CS bond, CN bond as well as PO bond, etc. So that refers to the ligases, that is joining. So these are the classification of enzymes include oxidoreductases or dehydrogenases, transferases, hydrolases, lyases, ligases as well as the isomerases. So this is regarding to the entire chapter biomolecules. So in the biomolecule chapter, we have discussed about what do you mean by biomolecules. Biomolecules are the carbon containing substances which are found in the living organisms. Okay, so how to analyze the biomolecules? There are made 2 ways, that is the acid solubility test as well as the ash analysis. Ash analysis is mainly done to know the inorganic substances, Whereas the acid solubility test, in case of the acid solubility test, where there will be a isolation of both organic as well as the inorganic, where two fractions will be obtained, acid soluble pool as well as the acid insoluble pool, where biomolecules are again classified into biomicromolecule as well as the biomacromolecule. Micromolecules with less molecular weight, macromolecules with more molecular weight. Okay, for example, amino acids. Amino acids are the organic acids consisting of 4 valency group. They are known as substituted methanes. Okay, so there is a presence of amino group, carboxyl group, H as well as the variable R group. So there are about different around 20 types of these particular amino acids. Okay, so then we also discussed about the lipids, where the lipids are actually, they have a molecular weight of 800 Dalton, but still they are considered under macromolecule because they are found in the cell organelle region. Okay, so then we also discussed about nucleotides. So nucleotides, and we also discussed the macromolecules such as proteins, protein function, protein structure, carbohydrates, nothing but the polysaccharides, different type of polysaccharides such as homopolysaccharide, heteropolysaccharides, nucleic acids, the structure of DNA. We also studied structure of DNA, structure of protein, different types of bonds present in proteins such as peptide bond, glycosidic bond in polysaccharides, phosphodiester bond in nucleic acids. Okay, so as well as we studied about the primary and secondary metabolites. We studied about primary and secondary metabolites, and some of the small topics such as dynamic state of body, metabolic actions, as well as living organisms. They are in a non-equilibrium state and but it is in a steady state. And also very important about the enzymes. We also discussed about the enzymes. What is the nature of action of enzymes? What are the factors affecting enzyme action? Classification of enzymes. So all these we have discussed in this chapter, biomolecules. So this is regarding to the biomolecules. So this is about the entire chapter biomolecule. So in the next session we will start with the next topic. Okay, we'll start with the new topic. So this is about biomolecules. Thank you.